I'm not sure where to start, but I guess I should share what happened. I'm 29, and my wife is the same age. We've been together for 8 years, married for about 3 years now. Everything changed last month during our stay in Japan. My wife has been dealing with anxiety for the past few years. Her job in marketing wasn't going well, and she felt stuck in life. I tried my best to help her through it all, but after a while, it started wearing me down too. She began drinking more often to cope with her feelings, which worried me. We went to see a marriage counselor who suggested we should try something new together, maybe chase a dream we both shared. My wife always wanted to live in Japan, and after some discussion, I agreed to take a break from my software development job. We decided to move there for a year. Looking back, it wasn't the smartest financial choice, but I wanted to support her dream just like she supported me when I needed to move 3 times for my career. For months into our Japan adventure, things weren't getting better. Her anxiety was still there, maybe even worse than before. One evening, we went out for ramen and met some tourists from Canada at the restaurant, 3 guys and a girl. They were really friendly, and we all started drinking together. They bought us several rounds of sake, and we were having a good time. They invited us back to their rental apartment to continue hanging out. We were playing board games and drinking more. Someone suggested playing Truth or Dare. I went to use the bathroom, and when I came back, I saw my wife kissing one of the guys. I wanted to punch him, but everyone said it was just part of the game. My wife said the same thing, but I was upset. Who wouldn't be? I told her we needed to leave right away. We took a taxi home, and neither of us said anything during the ride. She said sorry and blamed it on the drinks and the game. I was too tired and angry to talk, so I just went to bed. I woke up around 4 a.m. and noticed she wasn't there. I thought she might be in the bathroom or kitchen, but I couldn't find her anywhere in our small apartment. My phone was missing too. I started to panic. I checked everywhere, even under the bed and in the closets. I couldn't call anyone because I didn't have my phone. I was about to wake up our neighbors when she finally showed up in a taxi at 6 a.m. She claimed she went back to get her phone that she left at their place. She said she used my phone to call a taxi and didn't want to wake me. When I asked why it took so long since their place was only 15 minutes away, her story kept changing. First, she said she fell asleep there. Then she said one of the guys hid her phone and wouldn't give it back until morning. When I said I'd go confront them, she changed her story again. Finally, she admitted to kissing the guy multiple times that night, but said she couldn't remember if anything else happened. I knew she wasn't telling me everything, and I told her I was going back to their place to find out the truth myself. The next morning, I took a taxi to their rental apartment. On my way there, I was preparing myself for whatever I might find out. When I reached, I knocked on the door, and one of the guys opened it. He tried to close it as soon as he saw me, but I blocked it with my foot and pushed my way in. I demanded to know what happened with my wife. At first, he tried to act like nothing happened, but when I kept pressing, he finally told me everything. It turned out my wife hadn't just been with one guy. She'd been with 2 of them. He showed me pictures on his phone to prove it wasn't forced. In every photo, she was smiling and looked happy. The 3rd guy and the girl weren't involved because they were dating each other. I went back home feeling sick. When I confronted my wife, she finally told me the full story. She said after the kiss, she purposely left her phone there as an excuse to go back. When she returned, she didn't want to leave. She started kissing the same guy again, and then the other guy joined in. They took her to their bedroom, and, well, you can guess the rest. She kept saying sorry and blaming the alcohol, but I reminded her that she made a conscious choice to go back there. She wasn't just drunk and made a mistake. She deliberately went back to continue what she started. I was stuck in a terrible situation. We were in Japan, living off our savings, and I had no job because I'd taken a break to support her dream. Our relationship was good before this, or at least I thought it was. We always supported each other and shared everything. She told me this had nothing to do with not loving me or wanting to end our marriage. She said her anxiety was so bad that she wanted to feel young and free again, just for one night. She kept crying and saying she'd do anything to fix our marriage. She promised to go to therapy and stop drinking. I understand that she regrets it, and maybe she does still love me, but I can't understand how someone who loves their partner could do something like this. It wasn't just a drunk mistake. She made multiple decisions that night that led to this. I booked the first flight back home to the States. I had no job since I was on my break, and our only car was in her name. I ended up moving back in with my mom, sleeping on an air mattress in my old room. I feel completely worthless. I gave up everything to support her dream of living in Japan, and this is how she repaid me. The hardest part is that I haven't told my family what really happened. I feel more comfortable sharing with strangers online than telling my own family. When we talked on the phone about my plans to file for divorce, she begged me not to tell my family. She knows how strict they are and that they'd never forgive her. I'm not sure if I'm looking for advice or just need someone to listen. I've started seeing a therapist, and I managed to tell one of my closest friends, Tom, about what happened. It felt good to finally tell someone the whole truth, but it's still hard. I barely sleep these days. I just stay awake until I'm too tired to keep my eyes open. Living at my mom's place at 29 feels strange. She keeps asking what went wrong, why we came back from Japan so suddenly. I just tell her we had some issues and leave it at that. But lying to everyone is eating me up inside. At the same time, I don't want to share the full story because it feels embarrassing. Not just for my wife, but for me too. My wife flew back from Japan a week after I left. She keeps trying to convince me that we can work things out. She says she'll go to therapy, deal with her anxiety, and stop drinking completely. She admits everything was her fault and says she'll take responsibility for her actions. We don't have kids, which makes things easier in some ways. We do own a house together, though. We spent most of our 20s focusing on our careers and traveling. We talked about having kids eventually, but we weren't in a rush. We wanted to save up for a bigger house first and get our careers stable. What keeps bothering me is that after that first kiss, she made a conscious choice to go back there. She didn't just cheat. She went back specifically to do it, and with 2 guys. Even if she was drunk, she made that decision. No amount of therapy can make me forget that. The pictures he showed me keep popping up in my head. I haven't been intimate with her since that night. Even the kiss was enough to turn me off completely. I want to get tested for STDs just to be safe. Sometimes I wonder if she's done this before. It seems weird that her first time cheating would be with 2 guys at once. But what's the point in asking now? We're getting divorced anyway. I've read lots of stories about people who stayed together after cheating. I know it's not as simple as they cheated, leave them. Every situation is different. But for me, there's no going back. I can't trust her again, and I can't get the images out of my head. She still wants to meet up and talk, but I'm done. I need time alone to figure out who I am without her. We've been together since college, and it's hard to imagine life without her. But I know I can't stay with her after this. The worst part is having to lie to everyone. When they ask why we're divorcing, why we came back from Japan early, I have to make up stories. But telling the truth feels like it would bring shame on both of us. Right now, I'm just taking it one day at a time. My therapist says it's normal to feel lost right now. Tom has been great. Having someone who knows the whole story helps a lot. But most days are still really hard. Nothing seems to distract me from thinking about it. I know I need time to heal, but these first few weeks have been rough. Being back in my hometown, in my old room at my mom's place, sometimes makes me feel like a teenager again. But I'm not. I'm almost 30, getting divorced and starting my life over. It's not where I thought I'd be, but I guess life doesn't always go as planned. For now, I'm just trying to get through each day and hoping it gets easier with time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.